now, Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm your host, Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing agents who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined live and in studio by the one and only Sharon McNamara.
Hello. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Low, don't I? I'm doing well. I'm doing really well. How are you, Tim?
Doing very well, thank you. Good morning.
He was caught by surprise.
I know.
It also helps if I put my microphone back in program so everyone can hear me, not just you.
Yeah.
Yes. That would be helpful. Yeah, it was a I'm here.
Wait a second. Push the other button.
Yes, we are here, and it's. I feel like it's going to be a beautiful day.
Yes, it is.
Okay, yes. Good. It's
Bill Giles says so.
Oh, well, if Bill says it, then it's true.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little windy. I can see the trees blowing over there, but I think it's going to be a beautiful day. I think it's going to be a beautiful weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. You have a couple open houses that you are doing today. We're going to be promoting those as well because sneak peek, we're talking about open houses today. So it's all about open house etiquette, and like every topic we have here on Talk Real Estate Roundtable, it really comes from things that are going on in the office, not just in the industry, but things that we're talking about here in the office and living here in the office. So we've been doing a lot of open houses lately, and we're going to be talking about the trends and how to set up for an open house, what the sellers are responsible for, what we're responsible for as listing agents, what you're responsible for as a buyer's agent too. So we're going to be talking all about those fun things. But let's get some of the I don't know,
Yeah, so one of the things I did want to actually mention, you probably heard, I think that was, I couldn't hear because I didn't have my headphones on, but I thought that I heard Dan Trabucco, who is one of the select board members here at Pembroke, in the town of Pembroke. He actually just got reelected again, so congratulations to Dan. He was announcing that we will be having the grand opening of the community center this morning over in Pembroke. So if you are considering moving to the wonderful town of Pembroke, I personally have been here 31 years, so I do feel as if I'm a little bit of an expert. If you have any questions,
just a little bit,
feel free to ask me. But yeah, we're having our grand opening today of the Pembroke Community Center. I'm really excited about it. I know that the Pembroke Chamber of Commerce is going to be there. So you can go over there and see Peter Brown will be there. The whole gang will be there doing a little bit of a ribbon cutting. I am going from open house to open house, so I am going to try to swing in. I want to see it. And then, you know what, while I'm here, I think I might text a couple people, see if any of them want to call in, any of the select board members, if they want to call in and give a little plug as well.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to be doing an open house right around the corner from the new community center.
Mm-hmm.
I know that is definitely a selling point for that community. Those homes around there, it's going to be a great addition to the center of our town. So if you have time to go by it, that'd be great. And if Sharon's going to try to get somebody to come and call and give all the details of the hours and everything for today. But if you want to join in on the discussion, we are live everywhere. So we are on Facebook, we're on Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, YouTube. You can comment on one of our live streams if you'd like. I have it up on my phone right now. I can see Marianne McNamara. So,
hi, Marianne. Is Marianne watching on? What is she watching on?
No, May.
Oh, May McNamara.
Yeah.
Hi. Is she? If she's watching,
She goes by Marianne McNamara on the.
I know that's interesting. You're listening. Facebook.
Kristen says we sound great.
Oh, we do. Okay, great. We're not mumbly. Okay, great. That's perfect.
You can also join in on the discussion by calling Tim at the studio, 781-837-4900. You can also text that number. Again, it is 781-837-4900. Or if you are watching one of our live streams, it's in the comments and in the description of our live streams. So if you didn't catch that number, we'll give it again at some point during the show. But like I said earlier, we sort of come up with all of our topics from real life. we keep it real here on Talk Real Estate Roundtable. And we're going to be talking about open houses today. Mm-hmm. We do have quite a few open houses this weekend for Boston Connect Real Estate, and, our sponsor of our show, along with the McNamara Horton Group. But, I think, and I want to say this, Sharon, to you, is I think sometimes people forget that you do sell a real estate.
I know.
And today you're hosting 2 open houses. So you wouldn't be hosting 2 open houses, or really any open houses, if you didn't sell real estate. You're not just the broker owner of Boston Connect Real Estate. You're not just the co-host of our beautiful show here on WATD.
I'm much more than that.
You're much more than that.
It's interesting because I was talking to, who was I talking to yesterday? Oh, I was talking to my chiropractor, Dr. J. He's over in Hanover. I always mess up the name. I should look that up. Hanover Integrated Chiropractic. If you Google it, you'll find it, and I'll get the right number. But he's wonderful. And I also see Dr. Mike to do like my kinesiology stuff. So they're wonderful over there. Their staff is great. And I was talking to him yesterday, and I was like, oh, you should listen into the show. And he goes, oh, like, well, what channel is it on? And I was like, 95.9. He's like, oh, is that FM? Almost like he didn't want to like insult me by saying AM. And I was like, yeah, it's FM. And there I am laying, straight down with my head in between the little thing, whatever, to get ready to get adjusted. He's like, FM. So you're like the real deal.
Yeah.
I go, I am. I am the real deal. I thought that was so funny.
It doesn't matter whether you're on FM or AM. You have a radio show, period.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of the people who are AM.
Well, I know it's 2024, but AM radio is an important part of our radio field, because if our cell towers go down, if the internet goes down and all that stuff, we still have the AM radio because it travels further than an FM signal does. That's why AM's a little bit better than the FM. The FM does give you a cleaner sound for music and stuff, but AM can travel a lot further.
AM is the real deal. I mean, AM has been forever, right? And always will be. It always shall be.
Yes.
Yeah, we are all about AM. All right, so stream me on some AM stuff, will you?
Well, we've got another station in the building that does stream because it is on AM, and the stream sounds way better. But shout out to WMEX. But
shout out.
Yeah,
shout out.
Yeah. So we're the real deal, just so you know. Whether we're AM or FM.
Yeah. And AM always ends around here in a 0.
Oh.
That's another way to know. And it measures in kilohertz instead of megahertz.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, the more you know.
Yes, shooting star. Okay, back to you guys.
He knows a little bit about everything, doesn't he?
He does.
He really is.
He really does.
Our cutie patootie over at WATD.
All right. You're going to make me blush.
I know. No donuts today, by the way. I wanted
They were here yesterday.
Yeah, I wanted one, but...
I wonder if Mary Horton got her half dozen donuts that she ordered during our office meeting on Tuesday.
I don't know.
Because she said, I have been waiting for those donuts. But they were here yesterday. I don't know where they are this week, so you have to follow them, Hardly Saints Donuts, on Instagram as well. But okay, so open houses. We're talking about open houses today, and it's sort of, I don't know exactly where you want to start, Sharon, but you've been hosting open houses for 20-something years now, and I feel like there have been trends, much like everything else in this world, of things that have happened over the years. What's sort of the norm or the trend that's going on with open houses, and like I've said, we've been talking a lot about open houses here in the office and sort of, what's working for you, what's working for me. And I think the reason why we've been talking about open houses more than we have in the previous years, during COVID, we were talking about open houses in more of the safety aspect. But right now we're talking about open houses and commuter open houses. And we'll talk about, those coming back as well, along with broker open houses. We'll explain what those are. But we've been talking about open houses here a lot more because the number of private showings that we have received and have seen the past couple months has decreased, which we find very interesting. Yeah. That, buyers wouldn't want a private showing of a property. Even when we put on a new listing and it's a fabulous listing, because they're all fabulous listings. We have fabulous listings here at Boston Connect Real Estate, but we're putting on properties and they might get a couple private showings. You might do a commuter open house and you have quite a few groups come through. So a great amount of groups come through, a good amount of groups coming through the open house as well, and still getting multiple offers. So we're curious as to why, buyers are choosing to come to open house instead of doing private showings.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I've been talking to a couple of different agents as well regarding this subject. And I did an open house. My new listing that I have, that Mary and I have, so the McNamara Horton group is our name of our group, our team. We have a new listing over at 18 Perkins Road in Pembroke, and that is on the market for $449, and it's a ranch style home. It's adorable, and it has 3-bedroom, new septic system. It has all kinds of stuff, and I can get into that a little bit later when we start discussing all of the listings and open houses we have. But I was talking to a couple agents and I was just like really, really surprised. On this one, we did end up getting a couple of showings, and I'm trying to remember, when did we go, like before, I've been doing this for 21 years, 22 years. It feels like I've been saying 21 years for 21 years now, but I think, we used to do open houses on a Saturday or a Sunday, sometimes both days. I like to do it one day on the weekend, because then that leaves another day open, truly fully open for an agent to go back with their client or to see it with their client, and then it gives the client time to go back and see it by themselves.
Well, especially if there's an offer deadline on a Monday or something, like you want to give them enough opportunity to see the house multiple times, because again, during COVID, there were so many times where buyers only saw a house once before they bought it.
We got a caller.
We have a caller.
Someone, the ears were ringing. You mentioned this select board guy, Dan.
Yes, Dan
he's
Trabucco.
on the line.
Hello, Dan. How are you?
Hi, Sharon.
Well, I was
morning.
listening. Yeah, good morning. I was listening to our intro this morning, and they had a clip of part of the news. And from afar, I was like, "Oh, that sounds like Dan Trabucco. Where is he?" And I heard you were on there. So first, I just want to say a big congratulations to you, and you just got re-elected into your position as a select board member over here in Pembroke. So we're super excited to have you on our team up there, team of 5, right?
That's right.
Yeah, so congratulations on that. But we have a big day going on here in Pembroke. So do you want to tell everybody all about it?
Yeah, sure. So the community center that everyone in town has been working on for so many years is finally open. Today's the grand opening at 10 a.m. We're going to have several speakers, and then the building will be open for tours, and everyone that's been watching and waiting for this to open, it's finally the day. Here it is, 10 a.m. today. Come on out and walk around and see see what all this work and money too has gone into. It's such a beautiful building, and when you see inside, it's so large. It's larger than you think from the outside, and it's beautiful. So I want everyone to come on down and celebrate how all this work has come to fruition.
I got to tell you, Dan, I have goosebumps right now because, you know, it's just watching the building come down, the sadness that sort of went along with that for so many people that went to high school there, and then to see it growing from, you know, the dirt up. And of course, I love new construction. This is, you know, my real estate show. So I love that. And just watching it piece by piece and hearing, you know, they were so fortunate, right on track with, you know, their budget and their timeline. I mean, they lucked out with weather, and I have to tell you, it looks gorgeous. And for so long, we heard little things about, you know, the old community center and how maybe people didn't feel proud of that being in our center. And I have to tell you, I've been doing my open houses the past few weeks, and I'm like, if you want to know what our town is about, you have to go to the grand opening of the community center, drive through there, just see it. I know last weekend we had the first farmers market was behind there with all the antique cars and everything, and that was so well received. But Dan, you were probably around. Just seeing people walking through the center, like pushing the carriages, and it wasn't like for a parade, like for a one moment thing. It was like it's exactly what you as a select board envisioned for us as our town, and what it has become is exactly that. So congratulations on that. And as a resident, I just want to say thank you so much for, you know, just being there and getting that done. It is awesome.
Great. And you have to understand that you have a real estate show. And as a real estate show, I'll say this in that vein, that this building is now an anchor for the center of Pembroke Center, and this is going to grow. There are some buildings, ancillary buildings around the community center that the public owns that may not be for public use anymore. We're not sure what we're going to do with them. We may lease them out to businesses to kind of expand the center of town. So this is the anchor of the center of town, and it's a start of something new.
Yeah, it is. It is great. And like I said, I've been doing the open house, you know, doing my open houses, and it's interesting because there have been some agents. I'd say last weekend I was doing a house, open house over on Kenny Lane, and there were some agents that weren't from this town, and they were from, you know, other towns, and they're like, "Oh, well, Pembroke really seems to be the town to go to right now." And I was like, "Well, I've been here 31 years. I felt like it always was, but I understand what you're saying." And another person said, you know, it's really, they were from out of state, and their comment was, it's nice to see that your community gives back to the community by seeing the importance of, you know, growing buildings like that and having that as your anchor. So I have goosebumps. I'm so excited about this. I have an open house at 10, but I'm going to try to sneak over there a little bit early, and maybe I can get a little peek in there. So, but again, Dan, thanks so much for all of your help. Any other little things that you want to talk about the town and things that are going on?
Well, let's leave it at that. Let's leave it on a positive note. It's great to speak with you, and have a good rest of your show.
Well, thank you so much, and maybe I'll see you over there in passing, and thank you. And again, I just want everybody to know on WATD, I literally sent Dan a text and said, hey, any chance that you can pop on and, you know, give us a little blurb, and he did. So thanks so much for being committed to us as a town. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you all. Goodbye.
All right. See ya. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
So again, that was Mr. Trabucco, who is a select board member here in Pembroke, and as I said, he just got reelected, and it really has been something just to see how this process is. And I am in the midst of also being on a committee for town for the public safety building. I'm on that committee, so to be watching that, you know, from ground up is going to be really exciting for our town as well.
Where is that going again?
So there's two places for that. So the main, it will be public. It will be it's called public safety because it will be police and fire. So the main building will be down on the corner of 53 and 14, right on the corner there of Washington and Barker. And then we'll have an annex building, which is going to be on the corner of School Street. It's really on School Street, but on the corner of Monroe and School Street. So there'll be an annex there as well. So it's going to increase everybody's, the response time for the majority of the town. But, we're excited about that as well. So, yeah, so fun things happening here.
So
in
much
Pembroke.
going on in Pembroke. We love this.
Yeah, we're right in Pembroke Center, too. So we're the heart of Pembroke Center. If you're walking through or anything like that today, you will see our building. We're straight across from Stop and Shop here. And we have a yellow building. We're all decorated we did Memorial Day, but coming into 4th of July soon. And we look like the little country farmhouse, don't we?
Oh, yeah, I know, with our American flags everywhere.
Yeah, it just looks like I feel like I just want to bake an apple pie. You don't want me to bake an apple pie.
We took the stove out of here for a reason when we purchased this building.
Sure
so
did.
nobody's baking apple pies after our office parties, our office Christmas parties. No one's baking pies.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's get back to open houses. So you're going to be talking about the open houses that you're doing. So hopefully you can swing by the community center maybe beforehand. You do have an open house right at 10 o'clock, right around the corner from there. So you should be able to sneak in there. But getting back to sort of the trends that we're seeing with open houses. So we had an office meeting here on Tuesday, and a lot of our agents were talking about open houses, and we do an open house activity report every week. Julia is responsible for getting all of that information from our agents of how many groups they had come through. So we were able to see, sort of the activity that's going on across the board here at Boston Connect Real Estate. And
Good morning, Dee. Good morning, Grady team.
Yeah,
Just
I've been
saying good
liking
morning.
it. I've been liking it, Ellen. I talked to Dee on the phone the other day, too.
Yeah, good.
But, I lost my train of thought there.
Sorry about that.
We've been talking about the trends. So the reason why we brought it up is because we have been seeing a decrease in private showings. So, you've been hosting open houses the past couple of weeks. What's been going on with your listings?
Yeah, it's really been interesting, and to try to sort of watch and monitor, and every day the market sort of, it switches, it changes, it does its thing. And one of the things that we were talking about is like what happened, like what brought on commuter open houses, like what started that trend. And I think a big part of what started that trend was during COVID, we really we didn't want to have a lot of private showings because we wanted to minimize the amount of people that were coming through the houses, right? Because, everybody was afraid if you touch a light switch that you were going to get COVID, or the owner would get COVID. So we tended to do, we had like the commuter open house, which helped it. And then we would wash down the house afterwards, and then we would have one on the weekend. And I think that that's sort of where that started. Now, way, way, way back when the market was a buyer's market, which means the absorption rate meant that we had more than 6 months of inventory, and it was more inventory than we had buyers looking. And I do remember doing some commuter open houses then, but nobody really came. I remember like having like cookies and, come join us after dinner for like dessert. And like we were trying to get people to, come to the houses and fall in love and, maybe purchase a house. Now it's really interesting. So am I allowed to be extremely transparent? Do I even have to ask that question? I am always extremely transparent on the show, right?
Go right ahead. I'm ready.
Yeah, and this isn't like no offense to anybody, any other agent, how they run their business, what they do with their business, none at all. But I have to tell you that I think we're having less showings for a couple of reasons.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. So now, before buyers, if you were buying a home, and if you want to chime in on this, please feel free. 781-837-4900. 781-837-4900. You can call in or you can text in, and Tim will get you right over to us. But, I think that there's two things as I'm trying to analyze this, right? Is are agents saying to their buyer clients, hey, just go to the open house, let me know if you like it?
I knew that's what you're going to say.
Yeah, well, are they? Because I did that last weekend, and I felt dirty.
Oh, sending your buyer?
Yeah, I had to send a client to an open house without me, and I felt dirty. I felt like I needed to take a bath afterwards.
But did you reach out to the listing agent and say, hey, my client is coming, I'm doing an open house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that's what I did do. I mean, that's why we're calling this show like Open House Etiquette. And I called, and it was an agent from another company. They are wonderful. Actually, she came by my open house yesterday with her daughter. And, or the day before, whenever that was. Seems so long ago, but whatever. So I called her, or I sent her a text, and I said, hey, do you mind if I send my client to your open house? I have a bridal shower for my niece. I really can't get there. And Mary is tied up with back-to-back open houses as well. Mm-hmm. And they were like, of course, just send them,
Yeah.
And I said to my client, and they know because I've gone to every house they've seen, and I was like, I normally don't do this, but under the circumstances, I just really can't get there. So why don't you go look at it? If you like it, I will manipulate my schedule somehow later on to go and see it. So that's like part 2 of that, Melissa.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's in our agenda, like when an offer is submitted and the agent hasn't even seen it.
Like, how do you give advice about something that you've never seen?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And why are you considered a buyer's agent if you're not even going to do what the job basically, that the biggest description of it is, right? Yeah. And too, like, I just feel like, I think that sometimes consumers are also very confused when they go on to, Zillow and Trulia, Realtor.com, some of those other bigger companies, that, have websites that people are looking on. And I think that they push the button for more information or to set up an appointment, and they think that they're getting to the listing agent, but in fact they're getting to an agent that purchases leads from that company. Mm-hmm. That person does not know anything about that house individually.
Right.
And I'm not saying you should be working with a buyer, with the listing agent necessarily, but nobody can sell a house like a listing agent. Nobody has the information like a listing agent, and clicking a button like with on some website to get some rando agent that isn't even from the area, that doesn't even call to find out the details about the house. Like, I just don't think that that's the person that you want representing you.
No, I agree. And it's funny because, I go to a lot of our agents' open houses over the weekends and now during, the week with commuter open houses. And I frequently see because people, they don't know how to whisper, okay? Mm-hmm. And they generally don't keep things to themselves. So I see a lot of the times like people meeting for the first time in the driveway or on the street. And I go by myself and I just walk, it's nothing sneaky. I'm there to take pictures and, promote the open houses from a company standpoint for our agents. And, I'm just walking to and from my car and it's, oh, I'm so-and-so. Oh, nice to, I'm from, the third parties.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for pushing a button.
Yeah, third party sites. Yeah, and then I have to pay a fee.
Yeah, well, and, the thing that is like the part of it that's disturbing, again, hey, maybe you meet that person and you're going to have a really good relationship with that person, or you're going to do some like I say, do research online, Google people, find out who they are, what location are they working in. I mean, certainly if they're from Worcester, they're not going to be able to fully really represent you in Pembroke or Marshfield or Situate or wherever.
Well, we've done multiple shows on questions that you should be asking your agents, whether it's a buyer's agent or a seller's agent. So you can go to talkrealestateroundtable.com to find those past shows, or you can go to your podcast app and just sort of search for that way. But, we've done so many shows on these are the questions that you should be asking, especially if you're expecting representation. Mm-hmm. So,
and I actually feel bad for the buyers when I'm in that situation. I will be honest that I do see a lot of that when it comes to Mary and I have 2 new construction subdivisions.
Oh.
And I wish I could get into the mind and the mindset of a buyer. That's why if you're out there right now and I'm maybe triggering you a little bit, call 781-837-4900 because I want to know why what's the avoidance of the seller's agent? Yes, the listing agent works for the seller. There's no doubt about it. But who knows the most amount of information? And, and that's the thing too. The trick is, do you want more information on this house? Click here. That isn't true. Those people don't know anything about the house. And honestly, as a listing agent, I really don't care who you're working with. If you're working with a buyer's agent, I really don't. And if you're not, then, and people will ask me all the time in my open houses, should I have a buyer's agent? Yes, you should. Whether it's me or somebody else, you should certainly have one, but somebody who knows you and understands you, what your wants, needs, desires are. And I know here, we have a full buyer presentation that, our agents are good. Each agent has their own. If they meet a new person or they're referred to a new person, they meet them in the office. They go over what the process is. They align them with other professionals in the industry, like getting a loan officer. That in itself could have been a whole show.
Yeah, and I sighed when you said new construction, because how many times have you gone through the whole package of new construction with somebody 3+ times coming to open houses, or even setting up a private showing with you guys, and then being like, oh, let me bring my agent in afterwards. Even though you've asked the question several times, are you working with an agent? Are you it's like that agent, it's especially important during new construction that they're there for every single moment.
Every single moment of new construction.
Every single moment.
Every single meeting that you have during new construction, I would say really any house, but in particular, you have more meetings when you have new construction. Every single one of them is very important. And your agent should be there with you. And I understand, maybe you come to an open house, you like it, new construction, and then you decide, or even a resale. You go to an open house, you like it, but then you decide, I'm going to tell my family about it. And then your family's like, you have to work with Sally. And that's a made up name, by the way, because she's a real estate agent. And, that's fine. That is also fine. You have the right.
It's a made up name and a made up agent.
Yeah. But you can do that as a buyer's agent. You can work with whoever you want to represent you. I understand that. However, you should have that person in place before you start looking.
Yeah.
So we have a transaction that we're dealing with right now, and I'm seriously considering talking to the developer about this, because this is something that they had talked to us about. So there's probably 10 appointments that happen in new construction. Now, these people probably clicked on a link. Somebody met them there. They don't know them. The guy lives so far away that, yes, it's inconvenient for him to make any of the meetings. Out of the 10 meetings, he's been to one. And now he's expecting to get a full compensation for that.
I would call that person's broker.
Yeah, well, maybe I will after the fact, actually. I think that that's a really good idea. Is that how you actually represent somebody? And here's the thing. We're happy to give you the information, but guess what? Mary and I, we represent the seller.
Yeah.
Period.
You
Amen.
gotta show up.
I'm not gonna give you questions that you should be asking me.
Yeah.
That's your buyer's agent.
Yeah.
I'm not holding anything back. I'm not lying, but I'm telling you right now, your agent should be here sitting right beside you, and it frustrates me. So I think we're going to come up with a system that say these are the 10 meetings that you have to accompany. For every one you don't, we're taking 10% off of what we're going to compensate you.
Yeah.
And what are these people going to do anyways? MLS PIN, they're breaking news, you will still be able to put the compensation in MLS PIN. So that's good
I heard
news.
they're fighting back.
Yep, we're fighting back. But it's still up to the seller to say if they want to compensate or not. It won't be coming through us anymore. It will be coming from the seller. So rather than the seller paying us as the listing agent and us paying the buyer's agent, it will be coming directly from the seller if they choose to. But what's going to happen then? Anyways, 781-837-4900. If you have any questions about real estate in general, let us know. And
we have another caller.
And just like that, we have a caller.
Just like that, we have Dee in Plymouth. She wants to weigh in on the topic.
Hello, Dee. How are you?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm pretty good. getting closer and closer to having you guys come down and look at the house.
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, we're looking forward to it, and thank you for your confidence in us. So tell us what your thoughts are on this whole thing.
Yeah. So I've been both a seller and a buyer, and I've also taken the real estate course. I just dropped the ball on getting my license.
A lot of people do that, by the way.
Yeah. I'll take the course again once I'm ready. But anyway, so I do know a couple of agents, and I'm not going to say where they work, and they do send people to the open houses. And I asked one of them, why do you do that? Shouldn't you be going?
And what's the response?
I said, that sounds lazy to me. And my male friend agent said, well, when I do that, it's because I'm out with somebody else. And I said, oh, well, do you explain that? Or do you let the other people know? And he goes, no, that's too much information. They can go, they can look at it, and they can come back and let me know. He says, I'm not going to tell them I'm taking somebody else out and sending them to an open house. He goes, that looks sleazy.
Well, I don't. I think that that's called professionalism, and I think it's communication, true transparency, all of those things. And I mean, obviously, real estate agents don't get compensated until a house sells. So that could be 30, 60, 90 days, until you get your compensation.
Nobody's working with one person at a time. You just can't
I
work
told him
with
it
just
was
one
sleazy.
person.
Yeah. I never want to know who the person is, especially on the air. But I do think that, being able to have those difficult conversations is what makes a true professional a true professional. And what I would say to somebody is, that listing just came up. I would love to attend that open house with you. Or how about this? I can't make the open house because I'll be honest, I'm going to be out. I already have appointments set with somebody else for that time frame or that weekend. But let me set up an appointment to show you the house personally. Because open houses are not generally the only time. There was a time when open houses were the only time you could get into a house and they would give you a short window. And yeah, we're talking about open house etiquette today. If you're an agent as a listing agent and you're only allowing that amount of time, I call BS on the fact that, my seller doesn't want me to have any other longer open houses or have other showings,
right.
Other than the open house. That's plain and simple BS. And the reason why that is because a seller wants to sell their house or they wouldn't be on the market. And the best way to get the most people interested in your house and the best way to get the best offer on your house is to allow people to, see it.
Right.
You just got me fired up.
And when I'm the seller, I'm going to tell you, get as many people in here as you can, as often as you can, because that's the only way it's going to sell.
Exactly. And sometimes, you know what? Having your house on the market and the HGTV stigma of everything has to be perfect. And if you have young kids, I understand it's difficult to get the kids out and to have the toys put away or to, have the house 100% cleaned up. Well, guess what? My clients on one of my listings last week, they were on vacation and they have adult boys who live that one lives in the house, but both of them were in the house going back and forth. We had a showing at the house and my homeowner was like, you don't know what boys are like you have girls. And I was like, listen, I'm telling you right now, girls are no better than boys. But
that's right.
She's like, I'm just really, really afraid of what that house is going to look like. And I don't want to have a showing because maybe they didn't make the bed perfectly or they didn't do this. Maybe they left dishes all over the counter. And you know what I said? Don't worry about it. You're on vacation. What you need to do is enjoy your vacation, and I am going to go over there, and 15, 20 minutes before the showing, and I'm going to make sure that the house is 100%. And she's like, thank you so much. That's what we do. And Melissa and I were talking about this yesterday, and I'm not trying to, I am giving myself credit, but Melissa went to, Trish and Nick Flynn had a new listing in, where is that one, Bridgewater?
It's in East Bridgewater.
In East Bridgewater. Melissa went there yesterday to their open house, or the day before. She got there. Trish Flynn she's been an agent here since I started. She used to babysit my kids. She's a wonderful, wonderful agent. She is out in her sundress with her high heels on, skimming the pool. taking the leaves off the top of the pool. You know why? That's what we do. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So to not be able to set up an appointment and to just send your clients to an open house, I'll tell you, Dee, you got me going. I'm sort of fired up about this where I wish I had another hour. No, because it's frustrating to me for the client. I feel bad for the buyer because as a buyer, when you're walking through the open house, that's generally speaking when you're going to have the most questions, right?
Right.
So for me as a listing agent, we use this program. It's called Showing Time. And the agents can go right on. They can set up an appointment to see my listing. So my new listing is over on 18 Perkins. This week we've been busy. We've had quite a few showings on this one. And when somebody books an appointment, I have been the one that has said yes or no to these appointments. And when that comes through as confirmed, my client can see that there's a showing, and then I can also see the agent who's showing it and their phone number. What do? I pick up the phone and I call that agent and I'll say, hey, Sally, again, made up. Hey, I just saw that you set up an appointment to show 18 Perkins in Pembroke. Can I tell you a couple things about the house? Yeah, that would be great. My job as a listing agent is to make the buyer's agent aware of everything I know about that house. So when they're walking through with you, Dee, as their buyer, you might say, geez, this room seems a little small. I wonder why this room is so small. Is this really considered a 3-bedroom if this room is so small? And then guess what Sally can say? Well, Sally, she'll take credit for it, but Sharon called me and told me that the seller decided to expand the size of the bathroom. So when they did that, that encroached into this room. But in Massachusetts, you really only need 70 square feet of space, a window and a door for it to be considered a bedroom. But they also put the laundry from the basement up to the first floor into this closet for more convenience. You can see that they have a refrigerator here. They have a freezer. They use this sort of as like a pantry type room with laundry. But if you wanted to make this, if the other 2 bedrooms are not sufficient for you, the room out front that is an office with cathedral ceilings and a ceiling fan, you could put a door on that room, and now you have 3 bedrooms. Dee, do you agree you won't see that on MLS?
Right, of course not.
Right. And that's why we have to pick up the phone. And as a listing agent, that's what my job is to make that buyer's agent really happy. So now, Dee, if you're walking through with Sally, or I'm going to say Mary, well, it wouldn't be Mary. Well, Mary would know everything too. But as a buyer, isn't that going to make you feel more comfortable? Rather than you saying, yes. Oh, I wonder why this bedroom is so small. And the agent saying, geez, I don't know. It just looks like it's a small room. And again, a lot of times, agents, what I've seen is they see something and they don't understand the answer, so they make it something negative. Yeah, I can't even imagine that she would consider this a bedroom. But she knows. It's only because they made the bathroom bigger, and look how great that bathroom is.
Right. And see, I have a room in the front of my house that's technically not a bedroom, but when I was taking care of my uncle, we used it as a bedroom because I needed a bedroom on the first floor.
Yep.
No, technically it's not, but it could be in a pinch.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And those are the things that we like to discuss with our people. So, yes, I do think just sending your clients to an open house, I understand it if you're busy. But, what's interesting to me is the busiest of agents are the most professional agents from what I can see, because it would be the the busier agents and the professional agents would be the ones to either call me or send me a text and say, hey, Sharon, I just wanted to let you know I'm going to be sending my clients. This is their names. They're going to be coming to your open house. I'm sorry I can't make it, but I'm at other appointments. That's what a busy agent does. A busy agent doesn't just say, just go to the open house and let me know if you like it, then I'll write up your offer. Because I'll tell you right now, I keep track of who comes through my open houses. I keep track.
Of course.
Yeah, for agents, I keep track of the agent that comes through with their client, the agent who comes back and views their house after the client has seen it at the open house, and the agent who has shown it with a private showing. And if I get an offer from you, I will be letting my seller know that the agent, yes, the buyer was here. They came to the open house, but I just want to let you know the agent never saw the house. So if the agent comes to the what's that thing called? Oh, the home inspection. They might have a different perception of what that house is or should be or something. Is that going to be a little bit of buyer remorse? Well, I don't have time for that.
Right. It's too late now. I mean, you should have done what you should have done. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of my issue with this whole thing. I like to go to open houses just to go because I like real estate. So I will go and I will say up front, I'm not ready to buy yet. My house is not on the market yet. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking to look.
Yep.
And then they kind of give you that, ugh, get out of here.
Well, and another thing is what I say to people when they come into my open house is, oh, can you tell me who your agent is? I like to put your face with their name just in case you have questions later. I can sort of remember some of the things that were important to you. That's my job as a listing agent.
Right.
But, when people come in and say, oh, I don't have an agent, I'm like, don't worry. You don't have to leave a DNA sample. I'm not going to call you afterwards. I'm not going to send you emails and newsletters and all that other stuff in hopes that you're going to choose me as your agent. You can see how I work. If you want to work with me, just give me a call. I'm happy to have a conversation with you. But I'm not going to hunt somebody down because that to me is intrusive.
There are some that do. There are some that do. Even when you tell them you're just looking to look. Mm-hmm. And then they call you and say, well, when do you think you'll be ready to put your house on the market? Can I come and give you an analysis?
Yeah.
But,
and how do you feel as a potential seller? How do you feel about that?
It drives me nuts. When I tell you I'm just looking to look, if you start pestering the hell out of me, and there's one real estate agent that has done that, well, there's a couple, but there's one in particular, and I say, I'm not ready yet. Well, let me come give you an analysis, and I can tell you what you need to do to be ready. Hey, buddy, I got holes in my ceiling. I know what I have to do to be ready. The ceiling has to be fixed.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Well, Dee, thank you so much for calling and sort of giving us some insight into how it feels as a person who is walking around in open houses and, someone who's thinking about putting their house on the market. So I really do appreciate your insight. That was great.
Thank you. Be in touch soon, hopefully.
All right. We're here for you. Bye-bye. It was interesting, too, Mel, when I was doing the open house with Mary on Thursday, there were 16 groups of people that came through, and there was one couple that were sort of standing there, and they were adorable, and they were working with an agent, which is fine. Again, I don't care. But people come in, hi, welcome to my open house. Hey, can I tell you a couple things about the house? I want you to know that the roof is 2016. Or I'll always say, here are our flyers. Like last week, our professional flyers didn't come in, but here, maybe you can take a picture of this. Here are some commonly asked questions, just so you know the roof was 2016. The AC was 2000. This is that, blah, blah, blah. Go through the whole thing. And a lot of people were just sort of like glazed over and looking at me. And I said to Mary, I was like, do you think I talk too much? She's like, well, you talk more than most. And, and I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And she's like, well, most times people go to open houses. And then this couple started trickling out. And he said, I overheard you and I want to let you know. For the most part, the agent who was listing the house is usually sitting. Mary was sitting at the time, and he's like, no offense. I was like, she's had a long day. She's tired. But he's like, most agents don't say anything. They'll just say, let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah.
No, I want to tell you everything I know about the house. I want
Please,
you to know.
Let me talk to you.
Well, I don't want you to ask me later. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Or forget. Don't forget.
Don't forget. Don't forget about us.
All right. We have 5 minutes left.
Yeah,
you want
we
to
have
talk about
5
all
minutes.
the open houses, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, we can sort of wrap up. Anything else that you want to say? Because I'm going to give you an opportunity to promote your open houses this weekend. But any last minute thoughts when it comes to sort of why we were doing this show.
Yeah, just open house etiquette. Like I said, I just think that, if you are working with an agent, I know your agent will probably say to you, like, sign in with my name. That's fine. I don't care about that either. Or, don't say anything to the agent. You don't want to give your motivation. Okay, whatever. You don't have to. But, like, honestly, you don't have to be afraid of me either. If you have some questions about the house, I'm there to tell you everything about the house. If you want to talk to me about negotiating, I'm not your girl. That's when you go back to your agent. But if you want to know the age of the roof, guess who knows? The person sitting there, me.
Yeah.
And, that's another frustrating thing too, though, is sometimes you go to these open houses with your client and you'll say, oh, can you tell me, do you have no lie. Do you already have a passing Title V? What's Title V? Really? Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You shouldn't be selling houses if you don't know what a Title V is. That's how I feel right now.
Yeah.
But I was like, don't worry. I'll figure that out.
Don't worry. I'll let you know if you do.
Yeah, I know. I'm guessing you don't if you don't even know what it is. But, don't be afraid of the listing agent. Just if you have some questions, ask. That's your time to ask. If you are working with a buyer's agent, you should definitely make sure they're there. This is one thing I do want to say. When I put a new listing on the market, I like to come on like Wednesday, later afternoon, have showings start on Thursday, maybe have the commuter open house on Thursday or Friday, and then have, the availability for people to go with their agents for private showings. That's why that's it. Oh, the other thing? Agents lie. Do you know how many times somebody has called me and said, I was just wondering, I can't get to your open house. Is there any chance that you could bring me in to see the house tomorrow? And I'll say, are you working with an agent? Yeah. Well, then, all you have to do is tell your agent to set up an appointment. Oh, my agent told me that you're not having any showings until the open house. I was like, well, your agent lied to you. Call your agent, tell them to set up an appointment. I'm fiery about this.
Where are you this weekend?
So this weekend, today, from 10 to 12, I am going to be over at 49 Center Street in Pembroke. That is a 3-bedroom Cape-style home. It is a wonderful home, has a nice private backyard. It's fenced in, really convenient to the new community center that Dan Trabucco told you about today. That is the grand opening, so you can walk to the center of town. Everything is really convenient. So I will be there from 10 to 12. Again, I'll be there 10 to 12. So if you're walking by, feel free to stop in. And that home is on the market for $629,900. And again, beautiful, beautiful 3-bedroom Cape, and you will love it. So come see me. And the other house I'll be at is 18 Perkins, and that is in Pembroke. That is a 3-bedroom ranch with a new septic system that's been put in the last 2 years. And I'll be there from 1 to 3. That's 18 Perkins, and that one is on the market for $449,000. Mary and other people are helping us with our new developments, Cushing Trail. You can go there. We have lots of models, and Cochise Estates in West Bridgewater. And if you want to see all the other open houses this weekend,
you can go to BostonConnect.com. You can follow us on social media on Boston Connect Real Estate. And all of our open houses are posted there. We have quite a few going on, so be sure to follow us.
Yes, and happy Father's Day, Dad, if you are listening. I love you, Nanu. And to all our dads out there, happy Father's Day. And I hope everybody has a great day tomorrow. Bye, Tim.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to live in a neighborhood with you. So let's make the most of this beautiful day. Since we're together, we might as well say...